Today I'm talking to you about B-roll, or also known as overlay footage. You're going to learn what it is, how it might be beneficial to you making videos, and it's a super pro video producer move, and it's a strategy we use all the time in our client videos. So if you've been struggling with engagement in your video, if you're feeling like your videos are lackluster or don't contain that much energy and your viewers are dropping off and not sticking with you through the content, then B-roll could be the solution you're looking for. Hey, it's Nick from No Time Money or Skill here, the place to come to learn everything about making great DIY videos. So B-roll footage is supplemental video that goes over what is known as your A-cam footage. Now your A-cam footage is the most important video. If you think about it, it's the content, the camera that you use the most. So a tutorial video like this or a little FAQ video, you're going to be using your main camera as your A-cam, and this is my A-cam today. So the B-roll adds contextual shots to help better tell a story, to help engage a viewer deeper into the video, and also give more context and detail where you need it to make things really clear for your viewer. So is it that important? Well, let's just consider the average video for just a second. It might be the video styles you're making right now, it might be, or probably is going to be videos that you're watching online. If they're one camera, if they're in one location, if everything's stationary, it doesn't matter if it's a vlog actually telling a story, a client testimonial, advice videos or explainer videos, any kind of content that is set in one location with one camera has the opportunity to be meh and very repetitive for a viewer from a visual perspective if you're just using this footage. B-roll, and when you use it, it helps keep the engagement of the video high because you're showing the viewer something new and fresh, and even a different angle on something every few seconds or every 10 or 20 seconds. It's just a way to keep people hooked because we are visual creatures and we do like interesting movement and things catching our eye. So B-roll plays a big part there. It also adds detail and dimension to your video and makes it feel like a far better produced piece of content. And again, that helps people stick around to the end. So let's say I'm talking about, I don't know, the best time of day to film outside for the best looking B-roll outside. Well, rather than just tell you about it, I can tell you and show you, and you get that visual connection with what I'm talking about. And B-roll can also hide jump cuts. You've already seen a good chunk in this video. In fact, it's the most common way to edit any online content at the minute, where you have one camera and every time we stuff up, make a mistake, or there's some stupid bleeper in there, we say, for too long, I left that one in, you take it out and you make it as relevant as possible to keep the viewer engaged, right? That's called a jump cut. Sometimes it can feel a little awkward. So B-roll helps cover up edits that way. So if I'm running through an iPad app and I make a mistake, well, I can use the good first part before the mistake, I can use the good end part after the mistake, and suddenly you've got this seamless video. And that's important for a lot of you building your personal brand, especially those of you who kind of want to build themselves as an authority. You don't always want to be stumbling over your words. Now, some natural mistakes is important. You want to appear authentic and genuine, but B-roll is a really powerful tool to help smooth out some of those rough edges and make it seem like a more well-produced video. Before we go into how to actually get good looking B-roll and some tips there, let's put a couple of sequences side by side, one with B-roll and one without. It was tough to make the call to pack up and retreat. You know, you say goodbye to the house where your son took his first steps. It's tough because you don't know how soon things are going to go back to normal. Now without B-roll, I can actually add an emotional element, which definitely deserves its own video, and that's music. So if we play that sequence again with the right kind of music, we add an extra dimension to it. It was tough to make the call to pack up and retreat. You know, you say goodbye to the house where your son took his first steps. It's tough because you don't know how soon things are going to go back to normal. So that's better, but now watch what happens when we add our B-roll and our overlay shots. These are shots that are relevant to the story I'm telling. It was tough to make the call to pack up and retreat. You know, you say goodbye to the house where your son took his first steps. It's tough because you don't know how soon things are going to go back to normal. Great. I'm suitably depressed for the rest of the day. And that's because of the emotional impact that B-roll can have. Now, it doesn't actually matter what style of video you're making, whether you are making one around a story, whether you are making one that is detail-oriented. B-roll is very, very powerful. It's something you definitely need to probably consider introducing it into your video content. So how do you actually get good looking B-roll? Well, there are two ways. Number one, you shoot it yourself. More on that in just a moment. But the second way is you can actually purchase it via stock footage. Just like there are stock photo libraries, there are plenty of stock video libraries. Now, some of these can actually be pretty good high quality, some a little bit corporate and old school. But the advantage is, again, you can start to use B-roll to elevate the engagement factor of your video. And you may already be starting to see this with a lot of social media content where the company or the person building the personal brand just doesn't want to make the effort to go and film the B-roll themselves. The downside is, well, you have to pay for it, but also it's stock, which means other people can use it, and also it's not exactly customed to your exact needs, and that can be a bit of a detractor, but it can be definitely useful in the right ways. I've even used stock video in professional video shoots where we've needed aerial shots or time lapses of a city and the budget just isn't there for a client to pay for it. My vote is to always get your own B-roll. It doesn't really take that much more time and effort, especially as you make it part of your video making process. So here are some tips to consider for great looking B-roll. The first is get a list. You can kind of run with a list in your head as you're making video content, but if an idea pops into your head or if you mention a particular detail, make sure to make a note of that so you know to get B-roll that relates to it. You can do this actually as you're filming, or just do it the way I do it and actually make a list as you're editing. This way I know exactly what I need and how many shots I need of it, and I don't actually waste any more time than I should. Now, you definitely want to get a few different angles of your B-roll. You might think that you're talking about one particular detail, but again, until you actually put that B-roll into your edit, see how it looks and feels, you might feel like your close-up is too close or isn't the most appropriate angle. And so I always like to get coverage of a wide, a mid, and a close-up of the particular element I'm filming. More variety means more choices for when you are editing your video. Movement is great and can really bring a cinematic touch to your videos. Doesn't mean you have to move in every single shot or overlay, but just know that little bit of a creep or a pan and tilt around might add an extra bit of dynamic energy into your frame. The movement doesn't have to come from the camera itself either. You could have someone step into frame, or if you're getting a close-up shot of how to cook a meal, you can place the plate onto the table in the close-up. There are many ways just to add a little bit of movement, but it really makes the visuals, again, engaging to pay attention to. Slow motion is really useful for when you want to kind of add another cinematic layer to your video. Yes, there has been a location change. Good pickup, good noticing. You see how my B-roll covered up that transition? Made it probably less jarring than if it was a simple jump cut. So back to slow-mo, this is either 2 times or 4 times or up to 10 times slow, depending on whether you're filming on a phone, a camera, what have you. And it helps on shoots or videos that are really driven by emotion. So if something is quite important and you want to take a little bit of time within that shot, slow motion is going to serve you well there, but be careful because it is very easy to overuse it, just like any other gimmick when it comes to video production. So use it sparingly and use it where appropriate. If it's not an emotional story, just ask yourself, could this be better shown at normal speed versus slow motion? And the final main tip I have is to shoot your B-roll each shot for longer than you actually think you'll need it. There's nothing worse than taking the time to actually go out and create overlay shots wherein then you get back to the edit suite and you're looking for the perfect length of shot and you're a second too short. Or you think you've got the shots, you start waving the camera all over the place. That has happened to me probably far too often than I should admit on paying professional video production jobs, where in the edit, I just wish I had half a second more just holding on that B-roll shot. So shoot for longer than you think you need. So the final piece of this video is when. How often should you be using video? When should you be using it? And well, the answer to that is really dependent on how you like to create your video content. Maybe you'll splice in a few B-roll shots when you do talk about something specific. So you do go to those cutaway shots. But for the main content of your video, you actually might be quite happy to leave it as that jump cut standard editing style that exists nowadays. And that's exactly the approach I've taken with this video, as you can see. Or on the flip side, you may want to go after the most engagement possible. If you feel like you are going to be losing people in the subject matter, perhaps it's a little bit traditionally boring, if you're losing them in your explanations, or if you feel you have to go into detail, or if you have a story that you're telling, maybe a past client story or a personal story that you're actually imparting on someone, B-roll can obviously build a really strong emotional connection to the story you're telling, rather than just have standalone talking head. So there you go, an overview on what B-roll is, how you film it, when you should use it. What are your thoughts when it comes to B-roll? Are you using them in your videos? Are you not using them in your videos? Would love to hear in the comments below your thoughts on the video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you know anyone who could benefit from this advice, please tag them in the comments below. Make sure to head along and grab our freebie to essentially unlock the power of video, whether you're building a personal brand or a business. Head on over, download it, it's free. You can print it off, keep it forever, do whatever you'd like with it. All right, I'll see you in the next video.